Hello students, I welcome all of you to VARC weekly drill. We are here with another set of questions for you. Today we are going to solve reading comprehension. So let's get started. Let's read this short RC and solve a couple of questions to understand how you are supposed to do it in your CAT examination too. Let's get started. Environmental policy debates often assume that individual behavioral change, recycling, reduced consumption, energy efficiency can meaningfully address ecological crisis. So, in environmental policy debates, what happens is more onus is on individuals who are using energy or using maybe non-biodegradable substances. They have to recycle them, they have to reduce their consumption and energy. They should use energy efficiently. That's the debate that goes on. Can meaningfully address ecological crisis. It seems as if while they debate, they assume that when individual person starts behaving in a certain way, that will address the ecological crisis. While such measures are not insignificant, they risk obscuring the structural nature of environmental degradation. So author says that while such measures are not insignificant, means although the impact of individuals use of such products or usage of energy efficiently is not negligible, insignificant, it still risk obscuring the structural nature of what is the main structural nature of environmental degradation that is obscured because of these debates. Industrial supply chains, energy infrastructures, and policy frameworks exert far greater influence. Now, these things which are uh, actually the start or the source of these things are the main reason of the imbalance. Industrial supply chain, energy infrastructures, policy frameworks exert far greater influence. These things have far greater influence on ecological outcomes than isolated consumer choices. Okay, so that's what uh, the author thinks. However, shifting focus entirely to systemic reform introduces its own complications. Large scale policy interventions are frequently slow. So, when we are talking about that uppermost level of decision makers, large scale policy interventions, these are well discussed, well thought about, and only some action is taken later. So, they are frequently slow, politically contested. So a lot of discussion happens, a lot of people have a lot of views, and that is contested and vulnerable to dilution. So it may get diluted because of a lot of discussion and a lot of thought pouring into it. In contrast, individual action, though limited in scope, although it is very limited in scope, is immediate and symbolically potent. So that action is quite immediate and it is symbolically quite potent. The resulting dilemma is not between efficacy and futility, but between different scales and timelines of impact. It is not about efficiency or it is not about how futile it is. It is basically different scales and timelines. So, the scale of change when we talk about individual contribution is way different than uh, how it will change when the supply chain or the regulatory framework of any country or any nation or on international level is it makes changes in the policies or something, right? So that's what we have discussed in this short passage. Chaliye, let's solve questions. Question 1, the author's attitude, sorry, the author's attitude towards individual behavioral change can best be described as, what is author's attitude here? Dismissive. He is not dismissing completely. Okay, he is not saying that it is of no use. No. Qualified acceptance. Yes, he is actually qualifying that, yeah, individuals may change. When individuals change, it is quite quick and it is quite symbolically potent, but still it is not going to make or it is not going to change on a large scale. Okay, so qualified acceptance is important. Strong endorsement, no, he is not endorsing it. Indifference, no. So qualified acceptance is the correct answer here, guys. Now let us move on to the second question. Which of the following, if true, would most weaken the author's argument? Which one of these options, if true, would weaken what is said in the passage? Okay. A nationwide policy reduced industrial emission by 40% over a decade. Now, nationwide policy reduced industrial emission by 40% over a decade. We in this option we are saying, if we consider this as true, it won't weaken, it will strengthen the argument, because author is saying that it mostly depends on the policy makers, right? It is not, the onus is not on individuals who are consuming it. So it will strengthen, it won't weaken. So this is right. So this cannot be our answer. Surveys show that people who recycle are more likely to support environmental policies. If it is true, uh, if we consider that surveys show that people who recycle are more likely to support environmental policies. Now, if people who are recycling would support environmental policies, don't you think this in itself is weakening? Because environmental policies right now are not up to the mark. Okay, they are not up to the mark, and that's the reason there is a lot of pollution. If they are recycling and they are agreeing with the policies, then what author wants to state there, that on the policy level we need changes, on the supply chain level we need changes, that is being weakened because of it. So this can be our answer, but we still check the other options. A study finds that cumulative individual lifestyle changes have negligible environmental impact. If it is true, it will again strengthen. We are saying that individuals don't have much impact. They have symbolical impact, but it is not much. The more impact can be seen if there is some change in policy level, right? So this again is right, so cannot be our answer. Governments often delay environmental reforms due to electoral pressures. If this is true, this would neither weaken nor strengthen. So this is a distortion, guys. This cannot be our answer. The correct answer here is B. I hope you have understood this. We will come up with such questions in the next week also, such RCs in the next week and the coming weeks also. So please guys, stay tuned and make sure you're practicing a lot of RCs. If you are still little confused about how to start, when to start, where to start, from where I can get the material, I would suggest you to go to our website and check our course, where you will get everything in that course. Will get everything. You will get everything, whether it is DILR, quantitative aptitude, VARC, everything is covered in this course. So go and buy that course and start your practice. It is the high time now. You will get the link in our description box. Okay. So see you in the next video.